Hello and welcome to the pub, which is kind of apt really because the Triumph Speed Triple has always been a bit of a barroom brawler, but this new 2025 version is now really a sculpted MMA fighter, the sort that we'll probably see fighting on the White House lawn to celebrate America's 250th birthday next year. But anyway, it is the new Speed Triple. This version, well, the basis for this came out in 2021 and I didn't like it. I didn't really like it. It was too firm, too revvy, and it lost all the Speed Triple charm. And I used to own a Speed Triple, and I've done a video recently of a 2016 version. I love the concept, and they're back. They are so back. I've only ridden 10 miles on this, and I'm going to take you for a first ride now. But essentially what we've got is slightly tweaked looks, slightly tweaked engine, up to 183 horsepower from 180, 128 newton meters of torque, which happens 250 revs lower, and new exhaust, freer flowing exhaust supposedly. But the big news is under there. We've now got Ohlins Smart EC3 suspension, so semi-active Ohlins, which has fixed the problem this had. It was just too firm for the road, and now it is fully adjustable. We've also got 20mm wider handlebars, bar end mirrors, slightly higher handlebars. It's been tweaked here and there, but the good news is it feels like a Speed Triple again. I don't know what it is. I was new to cowl at the back. Anyway, let's go for a quick ride, shall we? Still needs a new dashboard because that takes too long to animate and boot up, and it's annoying, but hey, when you're riding this, doesn't really matter. Now, I've been riding this, and I will be riding this in just normal street mode. I've made some adjustments to street mode to be slightly softer on the suspension when you're cruising, and I've turned the new anti-wheelie down a bit, and it is great. You can now separate anti-wheelie from the traction control for I think the first time on a Triumph, and boy do you need anti-wheelie on this. This isn't a very YouTube friendly bike. This motor is a proper super naked motor now. It is ridiculous. Look, 30 to 50, that's all I can show you. That's all I can show you. It is stupendously fast. But anyway, let's cut to an alternate universe and see how it rides. Right, well, this bike, I can already tell you, deserves its place in the super naked pantheon of greats. It's got the ingredients, it's back to that feeling that Triumph developed it on British roads. It is nicely suspended, and I like the fact that you can now fully adjust the suspension. You can adjust how it supports you on corner entry, corner exit. This suspension has so far only been seen, I think, on the Street Fighter V4, Panigale V4 and Fireblade SP. It's properly advanced, so you can adjust it on the fly in all sorts of like minute detail, like the rear firmness, brake support, acceleration support, blah blah blah. Or you can just go to a simple menu that says make it comfortable, make it sportier. But whatever, it's working with a chassis that has so much confidence in the middle of a corner, and considering the amount of torque and grunt this bike has got, oh my god, you can exit corners like your arse is, I don't know, falling into the sun. It is so fast. Cross country, and the quick shifter blipper is brilliant as well. The indicators are cancelling too quickly, but you can actually adjust that, so I need to do that. So far though, that is my only niggle, because it is rabid, it is rapid, but also really enjoyable on the road again. It is such a hoot. Oh, it's making my eyes go funny. It's got Brembo stylemas, same as before. They haven't changed. They are still testically troubling the good. I'm struggling to get my words out a little bit. Whew. Triumph, you've improved it. I had really gone off that 2021 bike. As I said, it was just, everyone was saying it's too firm, and it really was when I rode it, too firm. I don't know if they softened it up when they were giving out bikes from dealers, when you got handover, maybe they softened off the suspension after a few years, but this is worlds away. It's just tracking with the road better. It felt like when they brought out the first iteration of this with 180 horsepower, they had gone too far, chasing the big numbers, chasing the power figures and all the rest of it, and at the same time they tried to make it too much of a track bike, and it was just way too firm for me. But hey, we're back, we can adjust everything. Got cruise control. I thought I had heated grips, this one doesn't, I don't think, it's just hot. And that triple can still lug you. Now this is where, having ridden that 2016 bike a few months ago down at the Superbike factory, where this new engine doesn't quite cope so well compared to the old one. If you're in fourth gear at 40 miles an hour, give it a handful. It does go, but it doesn't hit you. You know, like on a GS or a Boxer Twin, you crack the throttle wide open in third gear and it goes brap and you disappear. The old one of these used to do that, and it doesn't do it anymore because it's a revvier engine. But people like revs these days. It's just not quite as road appropriate, shall we say, as the old speed triple used to be. Anyway, we're going to head to some slightly more flowing roads where there isn't a massive lorry and see what fun we can have. Actually, do you know what? I'm going up here. It's so busy everywhere. It's just a nightmare riding a motorbike at the moment in the south of England. This is why I bought a Tenere, everyone. I wouldn't normally bother bringing a Super Naked down this road. My MT-10 was okay down here on the previous generation of this suspension. This is delightful. There you go, look, if I use this time to show you, go into, well, you just go into riding aids, then you can adjust your ABS, your map, your traction control, then you've got your suspension presets. So you've got normal, comfort, fixed 1, 2, 3, and which you can then adjust in a separate menu. So let's just put it into normal and see how normal does on this kind of bumpy 30 limit. Yeah, it's good. It's really well controlled, so it's using spool valves which operate faster than needle valves, so it can react more quickly with its damping to the road surface. And I have to say, I'm enjoying this normal throttle map. Often I'll get on a bike and stick it straight in a sport throttle map to get the response I want. But this engine, it will surprise you and smash you in the face with the front wheel at certain revs. And I'm quite enjoying not having that right now, believe it or not. That is a honking big truck. Is that an electric Mercedes truck? Or a hydrogen one? I can feel the bumps down this road, but the bike isn't being unsettled by them. Yeah, I'm going at the speed limit, I'm not going fast, but this is a way more usable bike than what we had before. And it was a real shame that Triumph brought out that 2021 model which was too firm. And then they replaced it. Well, they didn't. They brought out the RR, the really lent over one with clip-ons that no one bought, and they had to slash 10 grand off the price to shift them. That had electric Ohlins, the previous generation to this, and that rode really well, but you couldn't notice because your wrists were in your ear holes and everything was bleeding. Okay, you absolutely 100% thunder didn't look. What bike? Oh, this is the sort of bike that could really make you fall back in love with biking again, I'll be honest. As a dynamic package, it really feels very road biased now, and I like that. And I know Triumph launched this earlier this year in Portimao, and they sort of asked if I'd be interested in going, and I said, do you know what, I'm not a great track rider, I'll sit this one out. And then I was very glad I did, because it rained a lot. Username Kate fell off it. Even some more experienced riders had proper moments in the wet. It was biblical. This is what I like a speed triple for. Bimbling a bit, razzing it a bit, it's British summer. And now it actually works on my local roads. Oh, this bit of road is nasty, but it's okay. Sort of. The only bike that would have coped with that is my Tenere. You get bar end mirrors as standard. They're actually pretty good. I did some motorway speeds on a motorway or dual carriageway to get down here, and they're actually really easy to see out of, and you can twist them like that if you want them vertically, if you're being a bit of a tart. I just prefer to run them like that because you get a bit more of a sight picture. £17,500 this bike costs now, so it's not cheap, but you could argue it's a darn sight cheaper than Street Fighter V4, which is getting on for another £6,000–7,000. And yes, that's got another 20 plus horsepower on top of this, but I can guarantee you, you won't feel shortchanged on the road if you pick this. The only areas where this really can't compete with the Ducatis and things like the screen layout, and I guess it doesn't sound like a V-twin / V4, but that really is it, and it's not red and Italian. But you're saving so much money. Oh, we're so back. Now, in terms of riding ergonomics, it's meant to be a bit more relaxed than before, but it's still putting, you know, it's leading you forward, but as I normally say with these things, it's not an ungodly amount. It's not too wristy. It's the sort that will support you at motorway speeds because you're leaning into the wind. Obviously, absolutely, it's got the square root of naffle wind protection. It's a naked bike, but it's got a tank range of about 130–140 miles. It's only got a 15.5 litre tank, but you know, 130 miles of super naked touring. From experience, that's enough. You'll want to do a petrol stop, eat a Snickers or a Biffy roll and stretch your legs. Should we do a quick shift of first to second in town test? Yeah, first to third at 30 miles an hour. Smoother than a virgin goat's thighs. Oh, it's got backlit switchgear. Look at that. Lovely. Whee! Let me have a bit of fun off crests. Just a little bit, not too much. Oh, TC didn't like that manhole cover. That cut the power really quite aggressively. I think I've got the TC in road mode, which is its most restrictive. Let's have a little look at that. Try not to get run out. You can drive through the puddle, mate. You don't have to drive at me. Map, normal, TC. Let's put TC in sport. See if it stops fanning about. Still a little bit. It's where they filmed The Witcher or something. They film lots of stuff in this woods. There's always film setty stuff going on. Second gear and a gentle twist of the throttle gets the front wheel off the ground and it straightens the bars in your hands, even when you don't really mean it to. That's character. It's probably terrifying if you're not expecting it, or if you're riding all tensed up. Not a beginner's bike, probably. Not a beginner's bike. I am in the tamest. Well, I'm not in wet mode. I'm in normal road mode. And in second gear, you have got to watch yourself a little bit. It's got attitude. There you go. That's the destroyed pub. Sorry, it's another 30 limit. But I've just been riding off camera for half an hour. It's a mixture of paces, and the bike's still amazing, Speed Triple. But it's making me wonder if I would have had more fun on a Street Triple. I think I might have had just as much fun, if not more, revving the Street Triple up. I still think a Street Triple is now too fast for the road. I do genuinely think that the most fun I have on bikes these days is on one of those 100 horsepower parallel twins with lots of thumping torque and all the rest of it, like that Husqvarna 801 I had on the channel recently. This is, well, it is too much for the road, obviously. It's way too much. I know lots of people won't like me saying that because 183 horsepower is fun, but it's revvy still. It is fun. You can still kind of do little torquey wheelies off crests and things like that. And that's one of the reasons I always like the 1390 SuperDuke, because at road speeds it's still giving you fun. This is just about doing that as well. You still do need to rev it. But yeah, that is what I'm thinking now, is 17.5 grand. I would probably save myself quite a bit and get a lower capacity middleweight bike. But hey, I'll still do my full review on this soon. It just eats up the straights in a very inappropriate way. See, I just wouldn't have enjoyed the old bike down here at all. It just would have been an exercise in vibrations and torture. This is much smoother. They've smoothed the engine out quite a bit as well, I think. I think they've done some stuff with the balancers. I won't pretend to understand that stuff, but it does feel smoother. And it's just a thrust box. Anyway, I'm going to stop filming now because I want to go and have some fun off camera. This was my very first ride of the new 2025 Triumph Speed Triple RS. First impressions from my first 20 miles are it's bonkers fast. The chassis is really talkative, it's very confidence inspiring corners, and it finally rides properly and you can soften it off without having to get actual spanners and screwdrivers out and things like that. It makes a great noise. The dashboard is still, we won't talk about dashboard, it's just a bit laggy, and I expect better on a £17,500 bike. And it's encouraging me to take it onto roads I wouldn't have brought the old bike onto, and then do accidental wheelies everywhere. So it is very much the spirit of Speed Triple back. It died off for 4 years, but it is back, and I'm really actually genuinely happy about that, and I can't wait to put some more miles on this. If you've got any questions about this bike, leave them down in the comments. I'll try and reply to them, ride it some more, and tell you whether you should buy one. Great. Right, I'll see you later. Bye. I love this Sunken Lane. Just stopping on the outskirts of Sheer for a second. This is the exact spot where Richard Hammond once stopped in a caterum in Top Gear. How exciting.